freeway.
Big!
You know, you've got to wonder, this is a work truck, and so not everybody knows how these vehicles are a little bit more intense to drive than, say, just
goes underneath us here, so I just kind of got to readjust the camera here. So still kind of barreling towards the San Gabriel Valley. See if I can take this opportunity to double in and get, well, it looks like we have a license number there, but the name of the business, kind of struggling to see that. I'll kind of double in even more to see if I can. Tapio Auto and Truck Wrecking.
Yeah,
okay,
it is hard to see.
Yeah, Tapio, okay, so I'll pull back out here a little bit. So some kind of truck wrecking business. So, you know, there are definitely some businesses like that in the South LA area, in kind of the more industrial part. So that would kind of make sense. But check out this tire in the back.
Oh, no!
Like that tire is about to blow. And I did hear some talk about that they were having trouble with the tire earlier as well. So if that rear one goes, I mean, those are dualies back there, but that could, you know, kind of hamper the way this vehicle is driving as well. I wouldn't be surprised if they hit some debris or something, because they were driving along the right-hand shoulder of the 5, which was super congested. That was right before we got overhead as they were coming southbound 5 around the 710. So that is probably what happened to that vehicle. We haven't heard about spike strips or anything. This is not the kind of vehicle that they're going to be able to pit. And, you know, with a stolen vehicle, they're probably not going to be too keen on doing that. You know,
I'm not playing YouTuber.
You know, this is someone's livelihood potentially, so there is, you know, some balance here that they want to try to preserve the vehicle, but it's really obviously up to the suspect and how crazy they want
no!
to
Preserve the vehicle? Hell no!
To Whittier Boulevard, so another busy thoroughfare here.
Preserve life.
Headed eastbound Whittier Boulevard here. We'll see what the driver's next move is.
Yeah, Des, you made a good point. The LAPD now just tracking this vehicle, not pursuing it, not actively pursuing. And perhaps that is because, he's posing a great risk, as you can see, almost coming head on into traffic, into opposing traffic here. He's in quite a predicament, but despite how congested the road is,
Chat, what a bang this song, huh? Chat.
Moving forward and driving at high speeds, like you said, right now eastbound on Whittier Boulevard. So I don't know if that tire is slowing him down any, but we certainly did see it kind of wobbling there in the background. And, you know, of course, police want to make sure safety is priority for the community, for drivers.
I didn't hit on it. When I came out, I said it was fire.
Are simply just tracking this suspect right now. They have a good, obviously, visual on this man. And they definitely don't want anyone on the ground.
So this is gonna scare you how quick you can generate this shit in.
People who are going
Chat,
home,
that's actually funny.
Friday afternoon, we know traffic will get heavier as time goes on. So right now, are we still eastbound on Whittier?
Oh no, it's not. Okay.
Eastbound on Whittier, now the wrong side of the road as well. And this is kind of crazy. I mean, look, he's almost doing it for no reason. Oh, there we go. LAPD is now back re-engaged, so it looks like they may actively be back in pursuit on this one. And you know,
it's impressive that
we're going to back off, and the suspect's going to drive.
Rage baiters
anyway,
and outragers have literally been able to buzzword the word slop almost in a couple months.
Difficult on these watch commanders and these sergeants to.
Slop is worthless now. The word, it's literally worthless now.
What they're going to do about this, and you know, at some point, like I feel like some of these criminals might even kind of know, well, if I just drive crazy enough, they'll leave me alone and I'll get away. And you know, they don't want to set a precedent like that either. So it's such a tough tight wire act for the authorities when it comes to these pursuits. I mean, this is not, we haven't heard about anything violent as they're blasting through that intersection right there at Philadelphia.
Oh, we got Chris live on air, then fuck this. I'm watching Chris then.
Problem running through red lights.
Chris locking in.
Earlier on in this chase, and no problem.
We pull up. Chris is live. I pull up.
He was just riding the shoulder as narrow as it was. And now look at once again, really coming close to some of this other traffic here. Really care less about the condition of this vehicle. Could care less about anybody else on the road here. Comes another red light right around traffic here. He's going through it, and he's continuing now eastbound
Who's Chris? It's this
Whittier
guy.
Boulevard, where there is stop-and-go traffic at various major intersections here, and it's going to cause a problem. Now you can see LAPD closing in on him. They are not giving this up easily at all. Let's go ahead and count them, Robbie. 1, 2, 3.
People thought we were going to get phased Chris, but he said, nah, I'm doing my own thing.
LAPD helicopter right overhead calling it all.
He's like almost every day. guy.
Continuing to slow down.
The real ones, no.
We'll go ahead and put up our real-time speed tracker to get a more.
I've been watching this guy for what, like
and
6 years now?
It's going to be right around, let's say, 50, 60 miles per hour, so just above the speed limit here on Whittier Boulevard.
This is incredible to watch, though, Chris, because the last couple days we've been seeing these work cars, work trucks, work vans involved in these pursuits. And, you know, these are very powerful cars. So to be on the road and to be trying to navigate and with the agility of a small or a race car sort of thing, these don't work like that. When you see them take these turns, they have to take them wide like we just saw. It looks like his back right tire is flat. Did you just already say that? But it looks like maybe it did hit a spike strip.
Well, we were told that it was flat. It looks like it's a little wobbly there, but it's a dually, and it looks to be behaving okay for the most part. So we were told that there might be a flat tire there. It sure appears.
Yeah, but the tire itself, though, isn't wobbling. It's just the rim.
Oncoming lanes of traffic over the median, almost a head-on collision. Another wild move here, just jumping over that median without any regard here.
Hey, bonus points, 50-50, hold on.
This is getting crazy, and LAPD is going to have a serious decision to make here in very short order. If this continues, this pursuit,
look at that grind, Chet.
A whole different profile. When you start seeing that kind of desperation behind the wheel here, he is in very, very real danger of getting somebody hurt, very seriously hurt. He is now traveling southbound on Washington Boulevard.
What the
Somebody
fuck?
crossing the street here, now going the wrong way. Light traffic here, but it just takes one wrong move.
Chad, this guy is nuts, by the way. This is a crazy chase, Chad. Rare, Chad, we've rarely seen that. Yo, what the?
He is traveling on the inside lane, right over that median, and he's coming.
Hey! This guy's crazy! This guy's crazy!
Continuing right through Chatfield Avenue, southbound Washington Boulevard.
Chat, we've seen that maybe 3 times ever.
Very fast clip.
Chat, we got a rare chase on our hands, chat. We got a rare chase.
Whittier now, as LAPD is pulling back a little bit. When we get a chance, we'll see just how far back they had to pull back because they were unable to keep up with him through some of those maneuvers. But the airship still overhead, following this pursuit.
50-50 again.
Used to jump over this median, comes up on a
50-50. Nice. Oh, hold on.
The wrong side of the road.
My goodness, yeah. I mean, for a moment, I felt like a viewer on the couch there watching that unfold. And I think about a minute ago, Chris, I could be wrong, but I thought I saw two
let Chris do his thing, man.
Avoided in the street. We say we believe again that this is a male behind the wheel. But the way, the manner of which he is now driving, this has escalated. As you said, another intersection here, and that one driver who got hit, just slightly, that could have been so much worse.
That person is so lucky, Chris.
So much worse. Yeah, that was a really close call there. Here comes another close call. I mean, he's going through every single red light, barely slowing down. We're not seeing a lot of hard braking here. He's just running for it, gunning through these intersections, and when he sees any sign of traffic in his way, here comes another patrol car going the opposite direction.
This guy has not stopped
without any regard
or brake for traffic even once.
Towards him, or without any regard for anybody else's safety for that matter. He really is running like a madman through the streets here, now getting back on the freeway from the westbound side of Whittier Boulevard. And that's going to put him, we're going to be back on the 605 southbound now from Washington Boulevard.
So yeah, that does appear to be a man behind the wheel, and it looks like he is alone in that work truck. There's no one else with him.
No, he jumped right over that gore point, over the curb there, and you could see why this vehicle may have.
Wait, this guy's fully locked in. Chat, he's holding that steering wheel fucking
as good a shape as it
9-3.
But it is a heavy-duty work truck. Again, dualies in the back there, and just an overall sturdy vehicle that's capable of this kind of driving, but not for long if he keeps this up. Fortunately, this is the exact place you would prefer to see this kind of driving on the freeway. Really takes the risk, some of the risk off the table when he gets off surface streets. When you see somebody who is just that dangerous and that unpredictable, there's just no better place.
His car is kind of sturdy though. It's going to hold him.
You can see just how much traffic, how many innocent motorists there are even on the freeway here who are now in danger, and without anybody right behind them, they don't even hear those sirens to let them know that there is a dangerous driver in their vicinity. So hopefully they'll be able to catch up with him here. Maybe CHP will take this over, but LAPD right
Yo,
now
this Mustang is brake checking him or some shit.
Yeah, well, again, Chris, we talk about it this time of day. Of course, it's going to be Friday. The freeways are always packed. But again, when you are dealing with somebody like this who will make these sudden moves, I mean, I can imagine if there was a way for this person to get out of any sort of traffic, they would go on the opposite end of the freeway and then go against the traffic on the other side. This is a very, very dangerous driver.
And my concern is that now that he's on the freeway, you see all this traffic, he's going to start to get a little restless. That's just the pattern that these guys.
No, if you wonder what he's doing, this guy's like quote unquote smart driver. He's letting himself space with the front driver so has more maneuverability and more availability for moves that he wants to do. He can do something.
You're going to see him resort to some desperate measures here, and we just don't know what this person is capable of. It just seems unlikely, based on what we're seeing here, it just feels unlikely that he's going to suddenly give up. Certainly that's what we hope he will do. He will just peacefully surrender, but that just doesn't appear to be in the cards for this guy,
guzzles more
at
gas,
least not
though.
anytime soon. The good news is there is a patrol car right behind him. We'll go ahead and confirm if that is LAPD. I believe it is LAPD.
He fell off his chair. He fell off his chair. His motorcycle.
Freeway here. One patrol car, that primary unit, a secondary supervisor, and then you can see at least one or two others behind him. So we've got that work truck now slowing down with traffic in the HOV lane as he travels southbound on the 605 freeway.
And Chris, for our viewers who are just tuning in as we come to the 3:30 half hour, remind them, well, first of all, our location. We see it's still Whittier, is that correct? And again, the fact that this was at one point going about 20 miles per hour and then how speeds really escalated.
Yeah, at one point this was almost.
Yeah, I love that word, escalated. They keep seeing it like that.
But it has really escalated since then, and there has been a lot of reckless driving even before we picked it up, where he was traveling on the wrong side of the road. And just in the last few minutes, we have seen more of that really reckless behavior, just pure desperation to put any kind of distance between him and those primary units behind him. And it hasn't really worked, which means he is agitated, he's desperate, and he's resorting to even more dangerous measures. Again, the only semblance of good news here is that he is on the freeway where there is no pedestrian traffic, thankfully.
Exactly, that's what I said earlier.
As we were making our way down Whittier Boulevard and then down to Washington Boulevard, there were people crossing the street. There were just so many other factors and variables at play. It just makes it even that much more dangerous for law enforcement to continue the pursuit. But at the rate he's going,
my wrist hurts though because I played Tetris.
Of just kind of waiting him out. If he sticks with that #1 lane there, that HOV lane, and stays on the freeway.
Look at the way he's holding his steering wheel.
A little more gas and give them some
I actually locked in. Not anymore. He's on the phone now. I think.
Maneuver in this environment is really off the table. Spike strip is going to be very, very difficult to plan with a guy like this, and also have limited effect on a vehicle like this. So right there, you've got two main tactics that are pretty much off the table if and when this guy even begins to slow down. Right now, he's doing about freeway speeds with traffic on the southbound side of the 605 freeway, where traffic is starting to open up a little bit on the southbound side.
But not
Northbound
confirmed
traffic, very heavy on the 605. Southbound traffic starting to improve for him, where there is much less volume. We'll see how far south he takes it.
Yeah.
Or if he decides to get off of the freeway. He does have a decision to make here in just another minute or so. That's going to be the 91.
Guys, we might have gas soon for sure.
Yeah, Chris, maybe since we do know this is a big vehicle, maybe it'll run out of gas at some point. But we do have a program.
Lady, that's my take. You can't copy my take.
Express to our viewers. We are coming up to World News Tonight with David Muir with some really important national and international news that they need to get to. But we are going to continue our coverage of this pursuit anywhere you do stream ABC 7 Los Angeles. Just want to make sure everybody was aware that we are going to head to World News Tonight with David Muir, but we will continue streaming this pursuit.
Don't worry, chat. I say this all the time.
The
broadcast will not stop. We are on the internet broadcast,
a couple
and
less,
this
I believe.
thing
You
will
see the
continue.
primary unit, a secondary unit, and I think it's just those two right now that we're able to catch up on the freeway. So right now, two black and whites behind him as he bypasses the 105 freeway, passing the 105. Next stop is the 91 freeway here on the 605.
From your experience, Chris, as we have about a minute left, when did they call it off? When did they
Put the speed meter. Put the speed meter. Editor.
Well, Despite everything that we've seen here, this has now taken on
Production.
a little bit of a more comforting posture for these officers. They can easily keep up with him on the freeway, and that's most likely what they will do unless they hand this off to California Highway Patrol.
I was going to ask you,
Production.
they're going to hand this off to the CHP. The CHP then ends up being able to really track this car as far as it goes, this work truck. Again, we are going to be going to World News tonight as we do approach the
just switch the broadcast. We're watching this shit.
This breaking news. It will continue on ABC7 on your streaming platform, but you can also watch on our website, on your phone, on your connected TV, anywhere you stream ABC7 Los Angeles. Again, here on TV, we're going to turn things over to World News tonight.
So it seems like this person isn't dying live on air, so we have to swap to something a little bit more entertaining for our viewers, guys. No death, no injuries, no bystanders that are getting chopped up. Moving on, guys. See, keep it online. Holy shit.
Chris Christie. Chris, this is a stolen vehicle, and it was possibly involved in a crash. Also, we are joined with Mark Robles, again, as we take on the streaming part of this pursuit. Chris?
Well, if you cut off Chris 10 times, at what point he's going to stop talking? I'm just saying.
In this pursuit, some questionable condition of the right rear wheel or tires, but the vehicle still traveling fairly nominally, especially considering these speeds. Just in the last couple of minutes, guys, he has now really amped things up over 100 miles per hour on the southbound side of the 605 freeway, and the LAPD
some debris,
put in a position
maybe
where
some
they
tire rubber.
Really put a little bit of distance between themselves and that vehicle. There's only one unit now following this truck, and even he has pulled back a little bit. It's just become a bit too dangerous and a bit too fast.
Could he escape? They can always escape.
Put this into tracking mode for the time being.
And Chris, let me ask you, how often when you see them do that, do you think, or have you seen that it factors into the type of vehicle that he's driving? Look, this is a newer model Ram 3500. It's about 1 ton, around 7,000 pounds. I mean, this is the type of vehicle you said during our air earlier. It could do a lot of damage.
This thing is like a missile right now, even on the freeway. In fact, especially on the freeway where he's doing 85 miles per hour at the moment, almost 90 miles per hour. That thing is a moving missile down the freeway at the way he's driving, the way he is behaving behind the wheel here, and so unpredictable. Look at that, really close. Look at that, changing lanes and just squeezing between those two cars. See, it's moves like that are going to get somebody severely hurt here, even on the freeway where it really
also isn't that a big weight imbalance between the front and the back?
With these conditions, forced to back off a little bit, putting this in tracking mode,
no load.
but the driving has not changed. The hope when they put it in tracking mode is that it takes the temperature off the driver and takes a little bit of pressure off of his posture, and right now it's just not having that effect. Right now he is driving as dangerously as ever. He's slowing down with traffic here and there, but he is no problem pushing the pedal to the metal. And now California Highway Patrol with their chargers now or interceptors I should say, getting ready to take over this pursuit. Take a look at that unit right there. That's California Highway Patrol on the right, now crossing over into the HOV
CHP, I love CHP.
25 months away, can I get a welcome to the crackdown?
I'm happy to see this CHP in pursuit right now because, Chris, I have to say, we all commute into work. We're looking on the right-hand side. You can see how dangerous this driver is. Clipped the front of a car, but thankfully in an intersection did not T-bone it or worse. So, but as we see the CHP now being part of this pursuit,
I noticed at night is that CHP hates this shit. They let him get away so often at night whenever they know the driver and whatnot.
I am very aware, I'm acutely aware when I see police vehicles coming up behind me. If I did not have someone behind me and this driver came right up on me, I would feel very nervous. So there is some sort of reassuring feeling, except for right now, Chris, you just called it a second ago. It seems like it ups the ante with this driver. They become more dangerous, take bigger risks when they do see the black and whites.
Exactly. The minute he saw him in his rear view
mirror, guys, I don't blame her, Chad. Apparently ABC, they because of the writer's strike, they started paying the anchors per word, so she's just getting a portion of that paycheck. I mean, he's been hoarding the whole thing. I mean,
now putting fresh pressure with a fresh pair of eyes on this suspect, closing in on him. as he makes his way southbound towards the 405. This is going to be the end of the road for him on the 605, and he's not showing any signs of getting
Guys,
off.
I had to come there because usually
to get off
they put the odometer
north or
bottom
south
left
on the 405 freeway.
but the editor
luxury of light
is choosing not to.
I don't have to tell you, Mark and Colleen, traffic on the 405 here
Speedometer.
what is it going to be at Seal Beach, the Seal Beach area, is not going to be very friendly for him. And so we'll see if he sticks with the freeway or decides to get off. But look at the way he's already getting over to the right side here. But let's see what he decides to do here. But just another second ago, you saw that another close call.
Yeah, absolutely. It's really concerning. It's frightening to watch.
What's concerning
I'm
is the lack of the overlay map
on the 605 or the
speedometer
this time of day. You're letting them know
replays and updates on the screen.
Behind, because as you mentioned earlier, these folks on the road, they may not have any idea what's coming up behind them.
That's right, and that goes right to Colleen's point, where at the very least, there's the saving grace of law enforcement behind him, and those lights and sirens really provide a public service. Aside from trying to stop this crazy person behind the wheel here, those lights and sirens are alerting everybody that there is police activity coming their way, and so it's important to have that tool.
Dude, they keep updating the title with as neatly as possible.
Coming up on rush hour at least. Here on the 605. We will see. It looks like he is taking the southbound side. Well, too early to say. I think he's going to take the south. No? Hugging the right there. That right lane. They put him on the northbound side. I'm not exactly sure. Let's see where this transition takes him. He's getting off, I think, off of the southbound side and onto the 405 north.
Okay. That may have been, from my memory, well, let's see here, you're right.
I know, we travel
we
these freeways so often, but boy, when you, you see
this guy was on the phone, and he's going somewhere. This guy has a plan. Chad, this guy has a plan. This guy, not totally random as usual. This guy's gonna locked in.
Again, we're learning of this. This is a stolen vehicle.
Oh, this is really tight.
Goodness, you just gotta hold your breath here again. This, we've had some really scary pursuits the last couple days. It's just sort of been several days back to back of pursuits. I think yesterday we had 3 pursuits, and we talked about one last night that was a deadly police pursuit that was near LAX, and you just saw that. Police cruiser right there monitoring the situation. I think it was a CHP in the middle of the median.
And I think, Chris, correct us, I think this is going to dump out into city streets, isn't it? Isn't the freeway going to end?
It sure is. Right here. In fact, it's going to end right here. Oh. And as I look off the nose here, we are back on city streets where traffic is going to start to increase. Volume's increasing already.
Oh, not this again. Yeah, here it comes again.
He's going to start losing control of the vehicle. A little bit of fishtailing as he tried to navigate this little traffic jam.
Opposite lanes of travel.
Over the median, now going the wrong way once again. Going the wrong way on Surface Street once again around all of that traffic.
Chad, this thing is skidding like crazy.
Right shoulder here, and he's really having
the back is so light.
Dealing with this vehicle now. If he continues at these speeds,
hitting
the wall, crashing into other vehicles. He made contact there with a work truck, a box truck. It looked like he touched it, and is already starting to lose part of that.
Damn! In the rocks!
Over the median. And just, I mean, this
this guy's crazy!
3 innocent motorists just dragging them along through the intersection.
What is bro doing?
Boulevard, passing through Bellflower on 7th Street, going the wrong way again. He has no regard for any of this oncoming traffic, trying to get around and crashing into everybody and everything in his way.
I'm so worried we're going to see a bicyclist or we're going to see a pedestrian. Look at this, going head on in front of these vehicles.
Flat tire up front!
They don't even know what is happening until they're getting hit.
Yeah.
Lost his tire, Colleen. He's just lost that front left tire. He's now running on the rim here. Heavy damage.
Chat, this guy's kind of a maniac though, chat. I'm kind of almost kind of a
front end of that vehicle and is
potential hijack or continue on the red rims.
I was going to say, even those impacts that we just saw a moment ago.
We've seen it with some of these motherfuckers.
As terrible as they were, I don't think they were hard enough to create any major injuries, but the impact to those folks that they
zoom out,
with, right?
Zoom out, give us the speeds, give us the overlay, give us the road, motherfucker.
I'm so concerned about this driver.
ABC, motherfucker.
A wrecking ball trying to get past. Doesn't matter if there's someone in his way. He is going to get around, come what may. Here, this is stressing me out.
That front left wheel.
Yeah, it's gonna be hard
Chris,
to swerve now that he's missing a tire now.
Not only is it not going to hold, look at this, he's squeezing through everybody.
Zoom out a little bit, zoom out a little bit.
They're all swerving on either side. He's going to get into another head-on collision here. There it is, head-on collision into an SUV. We are
yo, they gotta pin this guy.
dozens of vehicles damaged in this pursuit.
Yeah, they have to at least try to pin this guy. It's crazy.
Just rammed right into the front of that SUV. CHP has given this up. They have now created distance. They are now putting this back in tracking mode for the time being. They have pulled back, and you can see he is still straddling.
Hey, yo!
That flatbed is made of steel that is just doing tremendous damage with very little damage to the vehicle other than the front-end damage that we're already seeing there. But what we were saying, Mark, is that front...
Hey, what is happening?
Two vehicles into cross traffic, a major collision into the front of a paint store at the strip mall at 7th Street and Terminal Avenue.
What is this guy doing?
Those two vehicles, the driver stepping out of the vehicle and now walking away from the crash scene. That driver now walking away from the crash scene. Two major crashes.
What a fucking dumbass baldy.
Sidewalk. CHP is close by.
The
Sheriff's Department is close by. Long Beach Police are likely on their way over here, and hopefully somebody will be able to get this person off of the sidewalk. But right now, there are numerous casualties here. Look at the condition of that
that's insane!
We're going to try and keep an eye on the
suspect
and also those vehicles as well. We're going to stick with the driver here as he walks up the block here around the strip mall off of 7th Street onto Miramar Avenue. We know that law enforcement is watching our feed right now. We want to stick with the driver as he continues this stroll away from the crash scene. It ended about as badly as we were thinking it might. There were dozens of crashes there. At the very end of this
move,
he went right through all of that traffic, ramming into everybody in his way, right through red lights, into cross traffic, eventually losing control of the vehicle because of that tire. He was unable to retain control of that vehicle, Mark, just like we were talking about. And he went right into the front of that strip mall.
I'm concerned about these residents in this neighborhood. If this person is this desperate to get away into crashing into dozens of cars, so many people have been injured, so many people are changed for right now.
He's NPCing waiting for a car for sure.
That this person's going to try to get in a house.
And Chris, let me ask as well, do you know what street this is that he's on?
This is Miramar Avenue off of 7th Street.
Classic.
In East Long Beach.
Okay, there they are.
Hey!
There he is. I think that's going to be Long Beach Police. Maybe not. No, it's LAPD. LAPD taking the suspect down. We're going to come around. Let's come around the tree. Let's come around the tree. And it looks like LAPD has taken this suspect down to the ground on the sidewalk there at Miramar Avenue.
What a fucking bitch, this guy, man.
Just off of 7th Street. Numerous officers, as we come around this tree, now taking that suspect into custody.
My goodness.
Goodness gracious.
Punch him!
That was just terrifying to watch.
I mean, Chris and Colleen, what, a dozen vehicles
at least
in that last impact. I mean, Chris, as you said, just about as bad as it could end, but it wasn't a full T-bone impact. I hope everyone in that car is okay.
Well, that was a double T-bone, motherfucker.
One of the last vehicles that he hit, the back of his truck, it almost shredded the car open. That's where you worry about young children in the back.
He's still not giving it up, by the way.
He's still putting up a struggle. He's still putting up a struggle. They're trying to get this
He's
guy
punching him up! He's punching him!
Can't see what's happening underneath that tackle there, but you can see that they are having a little bit of a hard time as this suspect appears to be resisting slightly here. Very difficult to tell from this angle, but it's all happening right here along Miramar Avenue off of 7th Street here in East Long Beach. We're going to stick with this shot momentarily.
Bro, if there's a passenger in there, dude, his legs are crushed. Like, what the fuck?
Vehicles, as you mentioned, Colleen, was very heavily damaged, especially the front seats. The driver and passenger seat appeared to be smashed in.
Yeah.
And that was just a really high-speed crash here. Looks like they've got this situation under control.
And Chris,
let's take it over to the intersection.
Chris, can you Chris, can you just go back to that?
Oh, dude,
there's a
that walker dodged that shit.
Look, you can see him kind of over on the
That's a real life Final Destination shit. Did you see that?
It looks like he got hurt or is having a medical issue because he has been really grasping for air for the last few minutes, and you know he's been kneeling down. Now he's moving away, but you know I am concerned about what happened to him when this struggle happened. But again, you can see he's struggling right there.
Maybe just even out of breath. Who knows?
Yeah,
yeah. most likely, I mean, we didn't see exactly
This is
what
stressful,
happened there. He might
man.
just be out of breath. I do want to take a peek here on the other side of the strip mall, right there. I want to see that white SUV on the right. That's the van that was heavily impacted there, and then there was a small compact
It's stressful.
SUV.
Some of the leading officers in those chases, they don't know what's gonna happen. They see some guy like desperate doing some like crazy crashes. Am I gonna pull out a gun and fucking go for a final stand, brother? Like,
patient inside of that vehicle. They're waiting for an ambulance, waiting for the fire department to arrive here. They don't want to move anybody, especially anybody who's critically injured. And right now, it does appear that there are serious injuries here at the end of this crash at 7th Street and Terminal Avenue. There's the van. It came within feet of a food stand right there on the curb.
this is still cooking as shit.
Just so innocent, and they're involved in this crash. And you just look at the way, you know, you guys were talking about how powerful that truck is. Look at that tire. It's just like in half. You just where that truck, you know, T-boned. I mean, obviously we know it could have been worse.
You really hope there's nobody in that front passenger seat. Appears to be like
Guys,
a RAV4.
that car took a really serious hit.
I mean, yeah, that car's crushed.
I think you're right about that, Mark. It took a very serious hit.
Here comes the stretcher.
We're about to see.
There's no way, Chris, that car, you know, maybe a moment to spare, but did not see this truck coming.
I don't think so. I mean, you know, when you're traveling through a green light,
Brother,
the last thing in the world you'd expect is somebody barreling through the red light there. You can see the airbags have been deployed. We will see if they have any trouble accessing the seats. It may even require on the passenger side some more extensive equipment. We'll see here. They're going to pop that airbag here and access the driver. It does look like the police are talking to a possible passenger, so there may be more than one person inside that vehicle. Certainly there could be a lot more. Who knows? It's a small compact SUV with the potential of at least 3 or 4 or 5 people in there. So you just never know exactly how many people.
Yeah.
You know, we just don't want to even speculate
just
at this
think
point
about all the
until we get a better
carpools.
idea.
Yeah, the three of us, you know, we're all parents, and you worry about there being kids in that car, and you know the stress and the fear that they're going through in this moment. Chris, and also what we saw speaks to the mental state of this guy after the crash. The fact that he could get out and simply walk down the street so nonchalantly, and then the fight that he gave to law enforcement. What was this guy going through? We don't know, but clearly this guy was not in his right mind.
Not in his right mind, to say the least, and you've got to wonder, A, was he under the influence, and B, what other crimes has he committed? Because I would almost, you know, I'd be willing to bet that stolen vehicle likely was not his first rodeo.
As he walked away, he did not appear to be armed. That being said, we don't know if there was anything, you know, in his waistband, but he appears just to be walking down the street with, you know, nothing on him.
A car is a weapon.
Any weapon at that point. Again, that video on the right was a suspect. If you are just joining us on our streaming coverage, he is in custody. But again, Chris, he did not appear to be armed.
Did not appear to be armed. He just walked away very casually, as if nothing ever happened, and it really just speaks to the you know, inexplicable mental state of a person like that after the joyride that he just took and all of the lives that he has affected, not just threatened, but literally, as you can see here.
It seems like the car
I mean, lives can change forever.
might have performed
its
like
that, and a crash
duties
like
in safety,
where there were just,
perhaps this person.
I mean, you just saw him crashing into one
somehow
after another in the final moments of that pursuit, just rushing through every red light without any braking into oncoming lanes of traffic, numerous head-on collisions there, finally ending in a major one here at the intersection of Terminal and 7th Street. Before he just basically lost control of the vehicle, jumped the curb, and I can't get over the fact that there is a food stand just a few feet away that could have been impacted.
And Chris, we're showing some earlier video where you just see this driver just ramming his vehicle through intersection, pushing several cars out of his way without an absolute care in the world at how the price he's paying for these people's cars, their safety. But we're watching some of the video from earlier, Chris. I don't know if you could see it, but when he starts losing control and just kind of weaving, going up against head-on traffic, and just just a menace on the road.
And
I would
Colleen,
be terrified.
there was that one moment, I think, when he was still on the 22 or getting off the 22, where there weren't even inches left.
Get this guy life. I don't give a
scraping
fuck.
the side barrier wall, and then cars on the other side. There was
this guy was well aware of the danger,
I mean, he was going right through what
seen
was
himself
left.
do
That's
it
why I kept saying,
3-4 times, and then went for a crazy hit. Fuck that motherfucker, life.
Mark and Chris, it became so different. And again, Chris, I believe you said that the LAPD and the CHP, they ended up backing off this pursuit and became, imploring their tracking mode so as to try to save the community.
And hey, guys, I think this may be a good sign with this vehicle, this RAV4. There's one stretcher. I feel like if there was a passenger on the right front, they'd maybe be tending to that side more, and they only have one stretcher coming up. So hopefully,
I see movement right there, though.
It's just the driver in that car.
Yeah.
Yeah,
maybe just an airbag.
We can hope it's just the driver. It doesn't look like there's anybody on the passenger side, as you mentioned. It does appear that they are communicating with that person. It appeared that the police officer was communicating originally on the passenger side as well, probably unable to talk to the driver through the airbag, so they were talking through the passenger side. You can see the passenger side was severely crushed, so thank goodness there was no passenger in that passenger seat, and that airbag may have very well saved that driver's life for all we know, and you can see they are now tending to that person, but it does appear that they are able to communicate, at least based on the body language that I'm
insane.
observing.
If they were going the other direction, it'd been GG's.
It does appear that there's actually some movement coming from that windshield.
Yeah, we're looking at that crash.
Both cars literally dodged like actual insane damage.
Almost goes right into a Sherman-Williams paint shop as well. But you see it, he's going so
full
fast.
Passenger, full engine hit, boom, boom.
About. This is a
it's still gonna cook him for sure. Is the inertia,
so much force behind it. I'm.
We got an elderly patient here.
Oh.
Really, dude? Okay, life times 10.
Now being placed on a stretcher, very gingerly, helping.
That's
awful. He seems to be moving. He almost seems to be upright with the assistance of those firefighters, and he is now safely on that stretcher with a neck brace around his neck. And we can only hope that there are no life-threatening injuries here, but obviously, considering the patient, you know, you have to treat him extra careful here as they place him on a stretcher, and eventually he will be rushed to probably Long Beach Medical Center, I would imagine here, and hopefully we'll have an updated condition, but it certainly appears as though he is conscious and alert, moving his right arm to his face there, and we could just...
And there's nothing he could have done either.
Okay, let's go ahead as we get this this transport here. Once he's in the ambulance, we'll want to peek over at the other van to see the condition of that vehicle. There were more patients that stepped out of that vehicle at the end of this pursuit.
He looks good, but brother, a hit like that, my bro, it makes your
at this particular intersection.
It makes your walnut fucking wobble a bunch.
Because we know there are more crashes. People pulled over there, right there. All those cars there. I think all those people were impacted. Well, those might be parked cars. Maybe it was a little further back. I know we saw a handful of crashes here on 7th Street. Might be a little bit further back here. I'm not sure where they may have moved those vehicles. They've probably already cleared 7th, so they may be off the side. They didn't appear to be major crashes.
Get him down on the ground, suplexed him right there. Almost like a WWF move to get this suspect into custody after that just absolutely audacious pursuit.
What happened to that officer? Look at this officer.
Swarming this guy and slam him onto the ground, slam him against that vehicle, get him down on the ground, suplexed him right there. Almost like a WWF move to get this suspect into custody after that just absolutely audacious pursuit.
What happened to that motherfucker, man?
This officer that's crawling away, I hope he's okay.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, he might have.
I mean, he might have gotten elbowed or something in the nose. Yeah, I mean, the suspect resisting. We'll see if we can get this van out of the way and just.
Looks like he hit his head. That's what I thought too.
They've got tasers out there. They've got less lethal. This guy and slam him onto the ground. Slam him against that vehicle. Get him down on the ground. Suplex.
Oh yeah, he hit his head definitely.
Right
That's
there.
crazy.
Almost like a suplex on the ground. Suplex on the ground.
Oh, definitely.
Suplexed him right there. Almost like a WWF move to get this suspect into custody after that just absolutely audacious pursuit.
What happened to that officer? Look at this officer.
This guy.
This officer that's crawling away, I
Did he
hope
get
he's
hit?
okay.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he's
He might
clutching
have.
his
Yeah,
face.
I mean, he might have gotten elbow.
Paint shop there where it does not appear there were any casualties at that location. There's the food stand, that van coming to rest right next to the food stand, and they are now going to start locking down this intersection and shutting down traffic here in Long Beach here at Terminal
The other day was drinking
7.
some badass meat. You should have
As
seen
they
it.
begin to get the situation under control, but what could have been such a much worse situation had this ended any differently, but it was a violent crash that was really almost inevitable, the way this suspect was driving and ramming into vehicles down the final stretch of this wild and reckless police chase.
Even if you look at both sides of the road, even though it's a green light, even then, there's nothing you do there. Like, the car's not quick enough to brake or advance where it makes any difference on the head there. That's crazy. Well, I hope this motherfucker gets a bunch of repercussions for his actions, though. Criminal scum, bust a bitch ass.
Guys, can you hear me?
Also, you hope he has to pay for all the damages and all the whatever this is.
I've got you, JJ. Go ahead.
All that. Put him in debt.
Copy that.
And
Thank
transfer his debt to
we are technically.
to
I just want to get this confirmed.
the people that enable his behavior in his vicinity.
We're gonna call this
Whatever, maybe family or whatever.
Belmont Heights. Belmont Heights.
What? What's the question mark?
Belmont Heights in Long Beach. Let's go a little closer. Just a little closer to the scene.
Can they not get a better shot of this or what? Anyway. What about the other guy? Is he chill? It looks like he kind of just walked it off. Huh? Well, if they disown him for his behavior, then they should be given a medal then. That's fine. You went and got a taco at the guy's cookout.